Browns around the Ravens. Maybe this is kind of the end of something here. That this team has been really good for a long period of time, but now you've got Lamar banged up. You've got Nate Wiggins, their first-round pick, corner, banged up.
That's not good.
Marlon Humphrey banged up. Another corner, a defensive back, Roquan Smith, stud linebacker. Ronnie Stanley, offensive lineman. Nnamdi Matabuke, the big-time defensive lineman who's now out for the season. Oh, yeah, and Lamar.
Oh, yeah, that one, too.
Is this it? Are we donezo with this team for this year? Did that just happen kind of borderline overnight?
All right, well, let me answer your question with a question. If Lamar misses any time, do you think that this team without him can win football games?
Well, when you say this team without him, I just read all those injuries. So that team...
And by the way, the team with him is not winning.
They're without a lot of guys.
That's what I'm saying. So this team with him is not winning football games. You think without him and without all of those guys, so many of those guys who are key cogs in this machine, do you really think that we can expect a turnaround of any kind?
No, I think they're in big trouble. And that's why I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers may run away with this division. I mean, if you look at what's happening in the AFC North, a couple of years ago, this was looked at as the best division in the sport. And now the Ravens are depleted. The Bengals obviously stink. The Browns have trouble at the quarterback position. And there's all kinds of drama around the team. Believe it or not, a team with Aaron Rodgers is the quietest of the 4 teams in the division. And so to answer the question, can the Ravens overcome their injuries? Not their injuries plus the injuries to the quarterback. If you told me Lamar was the only injured player, could they overcome it? They could tread water. If you told me Lamar was healthy and all the other guys were injured, could they figure out a way? It's Lamar. Yes. Not the combination of all of it.
Okay, not to turn this into a Steelers convo, but just a quick aside here.
I was thinking the same thing, Smalls.
Everything you just outlined, we have expectations for the Steelers anyway. We always talk about the pressure on Mike Tomlin, not only to have a winning record and get to the playoffs, but to actually contend. When the division is falling apart around you, when the quarterback of the Bengals is out, when the Ravens get off to this start and Lamar may be out, when the Browns are the Browns, you have zero excuses if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers to not win this division and not go on a run.
They should be 6-0 in the AFC North. Think about it. Coming into this year, you would have given them 4 losses with the 2 games against the Bengals, the 2 games against the Ravens, based on how those 2 teams looked off of the off seasons that they had. Now I'm willing to concede those games to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the Cleveland Browns, sounds like they're about to give Joe Flacco the hook. And so they're going to be rolling out one of 2 rookie quarterbacks when you play them. I mean, I get that they haven't played a division opponent yet, but it's setting up for them to dominate division competition, which never happens in the AFC North. But it should happen this year. That is my expectation for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Based on everything that's happening with the Ravens, based on how the Bengals, suffered that injury with Joe Burrow, based on the state of affairs with the Cleveland Browns, there is no excuse for Mike Tomlin and that team not to win the division. And if they win that division, then there are going to be expectations once they get into the tournament.
All right, so you took a turn on this, Smalls, but I like it in terms of the Steelers with all the Ravens stuff. Can the Ravens overcome their injuries? No. So what does that lead to? That leads to the Steelers here. On the table or off the table for the Steelers? Okay, I'm going to run through a series of questions. On the table or off the table? Division win. Win the division.
Yes.
On the table?
Of course.
Okay. Number 1 or number 2 seed in the AFC? On the table or off the table? The Pittsburgh Steelers, number 1 or number 2 seed. Remember, if you just said no excuse not to go 6-0 in your division, that is stacking wins. That doesn't mean that they're the best or second best team necessarily relative. They're not
going to get the number 1 seed. Buffalo's going to get that.
Okay.
Buffalo will get, but number 2 could be in play.
Number 2 could be in play.
So on the table is number 1 or number 2 seed. Not number 1, but
not
yes, number 2.
Number 2.
Okay, number 2 seed on the table. Okay. A win in the postseason. On the table or off the table?
It should be on the table.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now the Aaron Rodgers experiment has officially worked if they get a win in the postseason, right?
If they get a win in the postseason, that is the biggest of all caveats.
100%.
I understand that. But what we're saying is they may be playing with such a lead for the whole season. Confidence may all of a sudden start to build up. They think they're better than they are, which sometimes can be a good thing, probably. I'm not saying winning the Super Bowl. I'm saying winning a game. What's been the knock on Mike Tomlin? No one said he can't coach. The knock is there's been too many years in between playoff victories. Once you get that kind of off your back, now it's like, all right, we settle back in again. So on the table is a top 2 seed, is a division title, a top 2 seed in the AFC, and a playoff win.
Yeah.
Does he also get credit for the quiet nature of this team so far?
So on the table or off the table, Coach of the Year, Mike Tomlin. They win the division. Aaron Rodgers is quiet. They have a top 2 seed. Playoff don't matter because you're voting before that.
Yeah, I could see it.
So on the table, Coach of the Year.
Yeah, for the first time ever, yes.
I could see
He's
it.
never won Coach of the Year?
No.
Yeah, no, he hasn't deserved that at all.
That's
oh my
crazy.
God.
That's crazy. That is wild to think that they're going to run away with the division and they're likely going to host one playoff game. And if they win that playoff game, they'll host another one.
Yeah.
On the table.
That is insane.
They have no
To
excuses.
think that there could be a path for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get to the conference championship game.
Who were not even in consideration for your power rankings or honorable mentions.
I said the Pittsburgh Steelers before the season would be fortunate not to finish in the cellar of the division.
That's right. But
on the table or off the
happens.
table, Aaron Rodgers
Football
plays another
happens.
year after this year.
Off. I say
And
off.
depends on how it ends. But if we know anything about him, it doesn't end well.
Glenn became the coach of the Jets. My contention has long been, and this is the way I have defended Aaron Rodgers in any argument that I've had with anyone about how much he was to blame for the Jets season last year. I said it's possible the Jets of 2024 were the worst coached team in NFL history. I did not think Robert Saleh was a good head coach, but firing him 5 games into the season and elevating a defensive coordinator who had no business being the head coach of a team, much less trying to do that and run the defense at the same time. The Jets were a coaching catastrophe last year, and they wound up losing 7 one-score games. That's to me, and Chris, I would defer to your expertise, but to me, that's where the coaching makes the difference, around the margins, the little tiny difference in a close game. And I thought Rodgers had them close enough to that, and that's why I thought he would do well in Pittsburgh, and that remains to be seen. And that's what I thought would start getting cleaned up with the Jets. And so Aaron Glenn, who I am inclined to like because he was a former Jet, which means he's got a little blood in the ground, whatever the term I'm looking for is.
No, you're right. That's it.
and who was a really good player, and he had the right coaching pedigree. I mean, everything about it seemed positive all summer long. When he was preaching, we're not going to make these mistakes, we're going to be disciplined and all that, I bought it. Okay, we're going to be better. The Jets are not a very talented team, but they're not the least talented team in the league. They have some glaring holes, like they don't have a second receiver, and they have a few other problems. But they have some decent talent. If they played clean, the reality is, if not for the ridiculous, stupid, unimaginable penalties and other mistakes that we have seen from them, I think right now they would be at worst 2-2. And so that circles me all the way back to, it's the coaching again. If anything, it's gotten worse. The Jets look poorly prepared. They are irretrievably stupid in the penalties they commit. I mean, I don't like using that word, but I can't think of a better or more descriptive one. And they completely beat themselves. The pre-snap penalties are something no team in that. You could give Patrick Mahomes these pre-snap penalties. He's not going to overcome them, much less asking Justin Fields to do it. The fumbles last night were ridiculous. So, I mean, the Jet season is over, and when the coach says, I don't even know what same old Jets means, someone needs to just put on the tape of the first 4 games of this season and say, here, coach, this is literally exactly what it means.
So, Jay, you said you were hoping, not expecting a win last night from the Jets. I'm curious, what are you expecting from this season? What does success look like for Aaron Glenn in year 1?
I think that success would have looked like the opposite of what it is, which is he has come in, he has started laying down the foundation of a culture that the Jets have not had in a very long time. The truth is, the last time the Jets had a culture, it was Rex. And I know that I'm hopelessly biased in this. Rex is my friend and all of that. But the reality is, when Rex Ryan was the coach of the Jets, you knew what they were. Sometimes it was better than other times, but you knew what you were getting. You knew what the New York Jets were. What are they? What have they been since then? What were the Jets of Adam Gase? What were the Jets of Todd Bowles? What were the Jets of Robert Saleh? What are the Jets right now? They don't have an identity. I don't know what they think they're trying to do. They looked last night like they wanted to run the ball like crazy, and it was